Aloha, aloha, everyone.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you all for joining us today, everyone that is watching. We have two very special guests on the show today. I'm so excited. I know my dad, he's one of the panelists. He's here. Our beloved Olivia is not able to join us today, but she will be back on the next episode. We have our guest, my very great friend, who is also a web designer, creative director. She gets people's SEO right. She can help maximize your brand's potential. We have our dear Carla Iris, who's here. Go ahead and put your hand up real quick so they can see who you are. Yes, that's Carla.
Hello.
Yes, and then joining us with her is her amazing wife. Yes, I'm so happy. I was at the wedding. Like, I love you guys. Therapist, and she can get more when she introduces herself. Talk more about the type of therapy that she does and her specialties. But she is an amazing lover to my beautiful friend. She is a great person, amazing therapist. And I don't know, LaQuinta, I might have to hit you up and get me some therapy, girl, because I got to get my life right. So we have LaQuinta who is on. And we're gonna do intros like we always do. And everybody's gonna be able to go around and say their name, where they're from, and the question. So as an author, words mean a lot to me. You know, they mean a lot to me, and we've been talking about the difference between compromise and sacrifice a lot in the past. So I wanted to know, like, for you guys, what is one thing that you happily gave up for the sake of your relationship, and what is one thing that has been difficult for you to cut ties with, but you sacrificed it anyway to please your partner? So when you go around and introduce yourself, you say your name, where you're from or located at. You know, you can give a little bit more about what you do, but those are the two questions that I'd like you to answer. So what have you given up happily? You're like, I don't need that, I'm good. And what is was like, I really don't want to cut ties with this. I love this so much, but I love my partner more. So LaQuinta, I'm loving these faces you're making over here. So I'm gonna let you go first. I'll let you go first.
National. So I'm Dr. Well, okay, we're doing introductions, right?
Yes,
So,
doctor.
yeah,
Yes.
Dr. Milson. I am a therapist. My specialty is in sex and sexuality. I deal primarily with relationships and um, individuals that may have, sexual problems, sexual dysfunctions, or couples that struggle with intimacy and desire. I say one thing that I gave up happily. Oh, ooh, I would probably say, um, I don't really think that I've had to. Well, I guess if I had to,
It's a
probably
hard
happily
question.
would be, kind of like living in a condo, in a smaller, more modern space. Um, I would probably say I gave that up. Yeah, I gave that up. Something that um, I gave up that we struggle with. Um, I don't know. Um, I can't really say that I have anything. I know something that she wants me to give up that I haven't budged on, and it's my dog sleeping in the bed, and I'm not ready to give that up. So that's not changing. And he right here next to me right now. I'm I'm rubbing his belly, and I don't think that's gonna change. But she wanted to change.
I do. I do. I really do.
Carla, you want to go next, sis?
Sure. So, my name is Carla, the founder of Iris Design. Shakia, thank you for your introduction. I think that was wonderful. So, web designing, brand development, marketing is my thing. So, to answer your two questions, I happily gave up. my singleness out in Austin, just living my life, just minding my business, all the things for this wonderful person. Um, and then I think the thing that I probably struggle a little bit is I moved from Austin to Houston. So I did give up like my normalcy a little bit and moved to Houston. So, but I would do it again because I love the stink off of her. I just wish that dog wasn't in the bed.
Why was I saying to myself, like the whole time when she was struggling to find the answer, I'm like, yo, Carla know what the answer is.
I do. I know.
Okay, Dad, you ready?
My name is Sean Arnson. I'm originally from Brooklyn, now living in California. One thing I think that I gave up, probably just like hanging out more. Not saying that I don't hang out, but I don't hang out as much. And as you get older, I really don't find the need to hang out that much anyway. Every once in a while, I do need to get away and have a little time for myself. But that's cool. That's understanding as long as it's not, you don't get carried away. And the one thing I struggle with giving up, I don't think it's nothing now because we've been together so long that we pretty much know each other's desires, wants, and needs, and we deal with each other. All that other stuff as far as giving up, that's in the past. So we set now, we good. I understand her, she understands me, and we give each other space. And certain things that I know she's not going to give up, that's cool. I'm learning to deal with it. And certain things I'm not going to give up. She deals with it. So I really, we've been together a long time. I say 5 since we moved out here. Ain't really had to give nothing up because we already know what it is with each other. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I'm Shakia, and I am. Oh my goodness, Ariel, I love you. Thank you. Aloha. We are in Hawaii living our best life right now. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Now I live in California. And I will say that I think I want to say, because this is my dad. So I've watched my parents my whole life. And I feel like that with my dad and mom, they're both very strong-headed. So I think something that I've seen them grow and be better at over the years is just softening and just knowing how to let the other person win sometimes so that it doesn't turn into something bigger than what it needs to be, which I know had to be really hard for them because both of them are very strong-minded people, and I'm the same way. So something that I happily gave up while in my relationship is I feel like, I don't know, let's do the struggle one first. So something that was hard for me to give up is I always like to go outside. That's always been my thing. Like, even if it's just like, I'm going to go to a happy hour, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there. And with the situation that I'm in with my boyfriend, just because of certain health things or whatever, we can't go out that much. So that was a struggle at first because, in the beginning, you're not that invested yet. Like, you just want it to be fun. You want it to be great. But as time went on and you grow to really continue to know the person and love the person, it doesn't matter whether we inside, outside, traveling or not. I'm just happy that we're together, so it's not really a struggle for me now, but in the beginning that was difficult. So something that I gave up happily, you know what, my boyfriend has helped me spend less money. So that's something that has been really helpful for me, something that I'm happily willing to keep doing. And even when I tell my friends, I'm like, no, sorry, can't, not happening. It really helps me in that way. So I will say that my boyfriend has really helped me be more financially responsible and spend less money, which is something that's good. So I'm so happy with these intros and we have all these fun segments. Y'all know we're going to be getting into our word of mouth segment, our hotline bling segment. We have a lot of great conversation pieces for you guys. So we're just going to pull away for an ad really quick, and then we're going to come right back to it. Okay, so y'all know how I feel about my scents and my candles, okay? And Be Light Candles and Care is here to stay. We are here to illuminate light and love to all. So please go to the site, www.belightcandles.org. We have our honeysuckle rose, we have our orange lavender, we have our magnolia peony. They are 4-ounce soy wax candles come in metal tins with covers. They are small but mighty. They can burn. Honestly, I have friends who got these candles last year and they're still burning. So please go to the site. We have a sale, no discount code needed. Okay, so that's belightcandles.org. Thank you. Okay, amazing. So we're going to jump right into the good stuff. Okay, so we got some hotline bling going on. And Dr. Milson, okay, because she already gave y'all her credentials. She out here helping people get the intimacy right, did my dad leave off? Dad, I'm gonna hurt you. But we're gonna get into some hotline bling. And y'all know this is the moment where you want a few viewers. Y'all send us in y'all questions. Please make sure to send us in questions at kickingitwithkia@gmail.com. And today, since Olivia's out, because I know this is usually Olivia's segment, but Olivia's out. So our wonderful Dr. Milson has agreed to take it over and do the question. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the question. And all you have to do is give some advice. You can answer the question. There's no wrong or right answer here. Okay, so I'm just so excited and happy. So we have a question from one of our viewers, and it says, I wouldn't say I'm depressed, just a little overwhelmed with life and not in the mood to be over loving or caring these days. But since I'm usually the friend with the most positive attitude, I think it's hard for my family and people close to me to accept the season I'm currently in. I know they love me and I love them too, but I'm just not in the mood. Feel me? So have you ever struggled giving love to your friends, partner, or family members in the past? And how did you get through it?
Okay, so I would probably say, yeah, I have. I'm not a person that, kind of stays down in anything long. But if so, personally, it may not be best advice coming from me, but what I would say if this was my client would be to share the dilemma, share what's going on, because you might not be in the mood, but if this is what they're used to, they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. So they might continue to come to you not knowing what season you're actually in. So that might be something of like, hey, I'm not really in the mood right now. Hey, I'm a little busy. I'm overwhelmed, if you want to be fully transparent. Or you can kind of maybe take a step away, take a break from it. But it would be best to communicate, kind of like share a little bit about what's going on with you so that people know and they don't necessarily have to assume. Because if you're thinking because you're in the mood, and sometimes we do feel like that, we feel like, well, I'm in this mood, so everybody should know because people know me. No, that's not the case. Because I imagine, and I don't know this person, but I imagine that person sounds like they can be in performative mode quite a bit. And when you're in performative mode, that's what people see. So they may not fully see who you really are, who you are, your authentic self, your true authentic self. So I would probably recommend just being able to communicate, hey, I can't do it. I'm not in a good space, not right now, maybe in a couple of weeks. And he can get as detailed as possible with the why, but it would be something to communicate.
Yes, I love that. First of all, clap it up for Dr. Milson, okay? Because you out here dropping all the gems. I love that, and I want to also just mention that this episode is about our differences and how we become one. And Dr. Milson, I feel like, really put a great tool out there: communication. That's one of the ways that separate becomes one. Is you have to communicate. You have to let people around you know, like, this is what I'm feeling. And I am that person that is always in performative mode since I was younger. And you are speaking truth right now, because I was the kind of person that I'm feeling the way and I'm mad that the people closest to me don't understand or know what I'm feeling, but I'm always performing. Like I'm the one that's always putting on a show and like an image of what I want people to see, and then wonder why they don't know who the real me is, or why they don't understand certain things. So I've had to learn, you need to open your mouth, you need to communicate. And last week we gave some good tools. Like even if you don't know how to say it, you know, they have YouTube videos, there's like TikTok videos, like there's a lot of different resources out there now where even you could try to make it fun, like send them a resource or something that explains what you're feeling and what you're going through, and just try to open that conversation. So does anyone have anything else they want to add before we move on? Dad, you're muted.
Okay, here we go. You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to say that the key to everything is really communication, but there's also a level of trying to let people know too much. Like sometimes when you let people know too much, they use it to take advantage of you. So you have to be careful of what you put out as far as communication. In the relationship, that's different because you're together. But when it comes to dealing with outside people, even some family members, so-called friends, or the public in general, you can't reveal everything. You have to be very tactful the way you express your communication. I just wanted to say that.
Yes, that's good. And do you have anything to add, Carla, before we move on? Okay. So it's great that you said that, Dad, because that perfectly leads into our broad issue. So what we do here on Play to Win, we spend the first half of the show talking about kind of like a more broader topic underneath the theme of the episode. And then the second part of the episode, we try to make it a little bit more specific. So for the first question, I want to know what you guys think about because we talked about those sacrifices, like things you've had to give up, right? But then I really love the word compromise, where it's like, I'm not really sacrificing because you're giving up too. So like we're both giving and taking. Now in the relationship, how do you keep your identity while maintaining external relationships? So I guess, Carla, do you want to go first?
I think I struggle with this just a little bit, only because, you know, when we got married, well, right before we got married is when I moved from Austin to Houston. So a lot of my identity was kind of wrapped in my environment, you know, as a creative, a musician, an artist, you know, outside of what I do as a, you know, creative professional, a lot of it was kind of wrapped in this area. So like moving to Houston, I'm still kind of struggling with, you know, finding my rhythm out there and even my tribe out there. So, you know, a little piece of a large piece of my identity, I would say, is kind of on pause until I can find that rhythm and find, you know, my tribe, while still, you know, developing new relationships with new people out here in Houston, as opposed to, you know, who I knew out in Austin. And let me tell you, as a, you know, an adult, it's hard, not impossible, but it's hard making friends when you're a whole adult with a career and kids and wife and life and all the things. It's a little difficult. You got to schedule things out like weeks in advance just to make a friend.
And I want to stay here really quick with you, Carla, because I think that this is really important, and a lot of people probably struggle with this in terms of like, so how are you going to do it? Like this is what you're saying. It's what people need to do. It's even something I had to do, like when I moved to California. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm gonna always be a Brooklyn girl. I'm gonna always be a New York girl. I even moved back to New York and ended up realizing, okay, I need to let it go. Like, I'm from New York. I love where I'm from. I love everybody that I grew up with, but I'm doing something new now. I'm embarking on a new journey. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I still kind of struggle because the answer for me is just, I made my own little world, right?
Yeah.
Like, really, I'm still not putting myself out there like that. But I think you made a really good point of like, you know, you have to put yourself out there. Like, it's hard to make new friends and stuff, but you need that tribe, and it does help shape your identity. So I know this might be hard to put you on the spot, but like anything like tangible that you're feeling like you're planning on doing or trying to make more time for,
No, that's good. So it's just like, finding the spaces and, kind of getting uncomfortable a little bit and going into unfamiliar spaces so that way you can network and commune and make friends. So I mentioned that I'm a creative. One of the biggest things that I love is live music and poetry, right? That's my thing. Like I love to be in those types of spaces. Like I love to be on stage. I write poetry myself. So it's important for me to kind of find those type of homes. Well, recently, LaQuinta, my wonderful wife, we went on a date and she took me to this event it was like a Sunday fun day type of thing. And it was like it was a whole mood. It was music, poetry. It was like soul food, literal soul food. And like, I've made it a mission. Okay, I'm going to come back to this. Like, I want to get on stage. Like, I want to be one of the newbies on the stage when they call out the newbies. One of the other spaces I found was Right About Now or WAN Poetry out in Houston. There are like spaces where I can, find my rhythm or find my tribe and, also make friends, but you have to put yourself out there. I work from home, and so it's not like I can make friends at a job, right? I work for me. I am, the face of the business. I do a lot of, the support of my clients. So if I am going to make friends or to find my tribe or to find, friends, I have to put myself in spaces where I can find those people, because them folks ain't gonna come to my house. They don't know me.
This is so great because you're speaking
Yeah.
to a lot of people right now, because I work from home and we're moving into a place where a lot of people, this is the future. Like it's gonna get harder and harder for us to be social, and sometimes we need to hear like it's not just gonna happen. You got to put yourself out there. And I want to clap it up for Dr. Milson, because that was our challenge for last week, to plan something for your partner, something that, well, the challenge was to plan something for them that they like, that you may not be that into, but just like do it, plan it for them and see if you like it or see whatever. But I know you're probably into poetry and stuff like that too, but it's just taking the time to plan something. See, look,
That's not her thing. That's not her jam. So she did that specifically for me.
oh yes. So we're just going to jump right to you, Dr. Milson. How do you keep your identity while maintaining external relationships?
So again, I might have a little advantage over this because I've been trained, and I try to live the life that I try to practice what I preach, in a sense. So I can very well focus on the I, which is myself, as well as focusing on the we, which is my relationship. I do it well. I make time for my friends. I make time for myself. I make time for Carla, and for my family. So I do pretty well with balancing it out. I just kind of take inventory of myself and what's kind of going on, what's coming up for me, and who I need to be around. What do I need? What type of love do I need to be around? And sometimes that might just be me loving on myself, or me loving on my dog and just being on my dog. Like we're currently right now, we're here in a conference in California. So I just kind of look at what I need for myself, and I am able to, make space for what I need in that moment. And like I said, it could be spending time with family, friends, Carla, or Sir, my dog. So
is that your dog's name, Sir?
Yeah, he's right here.
Oh, Collins over it. Look at that. Okay, so before we get to that, so people that are new here, I used to have a radio show, and even when I had a radio show, we have this one listener who loves to text me their opinion. And that listener is my mom. She loves to text me what she's thinking and questions, and then I share it with you guys. So she texted me and said, I'm not saying don't have friends, but be careful, because friends sometimes take advantage of people who's looking for friends. So that's a little deep. So, I feel what she's saying though. You got to still, like what Dad was saying earlier, have that balance when you're sharing your information. It's the same thing when you're trying to bring people into your life, and when you're trying to like make new community and stuff like that. And she's really saying this to me because I cry to my mom on the phone all the time, like, Mom, I just want friends. Like, I just want real friends. Like,
you don't need any damn friend.
that part. Like, but it's something that I personally really struggle with because I can meet people and new people are cool, but sometimes you just want to know that you got friends that know you for a long enough time that they know who you really are and they accept you for who you really are. You don't have to perform around them. You don't have to put on your like hi. You don't have to do that with them because they know who you really are. And as you get older, sometimes it's hard recognizing that those friendships don't always last and they're not always there. But yes, she also said, listen to the doctor. Okay, so she liked what Dr. Wilson has to say. Okay, Dad, are you ready?
Yeah, could you repeat the question again?
Yes. How do you?
So I got to repeat the question.
How do you keep your identity while maintaining external relationships?
I think part of the relationship when you're dealing with somebody, that's why they say the getting to know process and the so-called mating or dating process is important because when you sit down and actually have conversations with people, they get to know who you are, you get to know who they are. So you already start deciding what you will and will not settle for in a relationship. So part of your identity, I think you should keep because that's what the person should be attracted to from the original identity. Now, whenever we say that we can make ourselves a better person, you know some of the things as an individual that you do are bad, could be bad for yourself. So it's like the song, You Make Me Better. We're supposed to make each other better. So I'm supposed to take away some of the bad things that I contribute to myself. And the other person is supposed to also work on taking away some of the bad things on their part too. And you work on it together. So I think some of your identity, like keep the good parts of the identity and get rid of the bad parts of the identity. That's what I have.
Okay, I feel you, Dad. That's amazing. You know, I'm not going to get too deep into this because y'all know my little sociological mind is like, well, what's good and bad? Who defines that? But that's not what we're here for today. Okay, that's so we.
Can I comment on something?
Yes.
So when you mentioned, being like meeting people and wanting like wishing that they knew more or you could have more. So one of the things I want to say about that is everybody's idea of friendship is different. So even when like looking for and making friends, we have to also identify like what are we looking for in this friendship, because everybody's different and some people can only be good to be an associate. This is someone I'm going to get out with, hang out with. I get my needs met. I'm hanging out, having a good time, laughing. Cool. We cool for the night. But this may not be a person, especially if you're looking at character and their values and their moral compass, like what's going on with them. This may not be a person that you might want to tell your business to, but you might have a good time with them because they're fun. They're a good time. But what I would say to that is when you're trying to build friendships, looking at what you want, but also when meeting, because friendships are really, they are an attachment. They are a relationship. And sometimes it takes more work for a friendship than it does a relationship. I've always said that. But when it comes to a friendship, you want to nurture that. What does friendship mean to you? So like, for example, a lot of people have been using Bumble BFF for friendships. And it really is kind of set up like a dating site in a sense, but for friends. And one of the questions that they ask on there, what does friendship mean to you? And when you get to know someone, you can say, okay, well, this is what it means to me. But if somebody's telling you, oh, well, friendship means just going out every night, you might know that, no, that's not going to work for you if you're not a going out every night type of person. That's probably not the type of friend you want if that's how they're defining friendship. So one, I think it's best to always define what something means to you, what it means to you first. And then once you start to go out and look for it, finding people that align with what you're saying, how you're defining it, and then nurturing it.
I agree.
Yes. Defining, and we speak about that a lot here. Defining the terms. Like, it's very important in listening. Like you said, after you define what you know for you, you can't put that on other people. Everybody's their own individual. Then when you meet someone new, you have to listen to them and learn about them. So one more question for this broad issue is how, so I'm about to combine two questions into one because I feel like they're the same thing, but how can we bring our authentic selves to every environment while still valuing the importance of diversity? So bottom line, how does one being transform into multiple bonds, compromises, commitments? Because it's like we're one by ourselves, and then now we want to come and bring somebody else into the mix and make it a double, But it's like at the same time we're still supposed to be one, like, but together. So it's like, how do you do that? Like, how do you stay true to you? And I just want to start by saying that I'm the type of person that has no problem letting people around me know I need some time. Like, I need some me time. That's how I stay true to me. Because I'm a very giving person. I'm a very, like, I'm gonna help every single way that I know how I can help. I'm gonna put down my own wants and needs for the betterment of other people, and I take that on, and I know that that's no one else's fault. I do that. So the way that I handle that and recharge from that is I also take time to myself. Like, I have no problem letting even my boyfriend know, like, okay, I have to go home now. I can't be around you for like a 24 to like 24 and a half, like 1.5 days. Like, I have to go do my thing, give myself a steam facial, do my hair. Like, I did this myself. It took me like 2 days to do it. And, sometimes you just need, for me, I just need that space. And that's how I stay authentic to me. And when I have my alone time, I call friends that I haven't spoken to in a while. I like whatever I need to do to just keep me grounded. And it's also a way that I honor my boyfriend, because now I come back and I have a way better attitude. Like, I'm happy to be here. I missed you while I was gone, so that's what I do. I make sure to have my own personal time. Like, and it's hard, when you're in a relationship with certain people. My boyfriend isn't like this, but, I've had even friends like this where it's like, they think that you're a bad friend when you want to just do things without them, or like do things by yourself. And I've grown. I don't have time for that. Like, if you want to be in my life, you have to accept that there's going to be certain times out the month where even if I'm sitting at home, laying in the bed, scratching my butt, and I'm not doing nothing else, I don't want to be around you. Like, so, Carla, do you want to answer? Mm-hmm. You're muted.
Sorry, I was all talking. Okay, so yeah, I have a slightly different perspective. Just recently, one of my clients, they were honored for award that they were, what's the word? That they were, I'm looking for a word and I can't find it. But anyway, there was a big award ceremony out in Austin, Texas, and they were one of the contenders. Thank you, Brain. They were one of the contenders for the event, right? Just to be a contender at this event is a big deal. It's for all the small businesses out in Austin, Texas, and there's a lot in Austin, Texas, right? That's really what Austin is kind of built on, is the small business owner. So there was only about 20 small businesses that were there. I was also invited to participate because I operate as their contract chief marketing officer, right? I went to this event, and it's a predominantly white space, and we're talking about diversity and being authentic. And so I wanted to kind of share my story. I think in order to really maintain your authenticity in a space that might not look like you, is to just to know yourself, to be grounded in self, right? To know your values, to know who you are to the core. So when I entered into that, I was Carla before I got through those doors, and I was Carla when I was inside those doors, and I was, able to show up for my clients and show up for myself in that space. and be able to operate and network and make connections, even in a space that, didn't really look like me.
Mm. I love that. Yes, you have to show up as yourself, but in order to do that, you got to know yourself first. So that is amazing, amazing advice. Dad, what do you think?
I think all of us have, especially as Black people, we have two sides to us, right? So at work, depending on where you work, sometimes you want to be yourself, but you know you really can't be yourself because that's really not acceptable in the workplace. Like, not necessarily being Black, just anybody. When you're home, you're a certain kind of way, and when you're at work or in a professional setting, you act a certain kind of way. So I think that just goes with the territory. But what I think is that certain ideals and certain beliefs, certain standards, no matter where you are, you cannot bow down to disrespect or intolerance or whatever, no matter what space you're in. So you have to be yourself as far as dealing with what you will and will not accept from other people. And no matter what space you are, whether that be at work or at home or in a social setting. But definitely at work, you have to be more so, I can bend a little bit, but I'm not going to break certain things like tolerating somebody being disrespectful. I will put it like that.
And I think it's cool that you brought up work because a term that I know when I learned code switching, that term, it kind of changed my life because so when you are from the hood, a lot of times people give you a lot of flack about being fake. Like when you don't act like, I'm a really loud person. I like to listen to ratchet music sometimes or whatever. And like, but if I go into a setting where, I need to be professional, then that's just what I need to do. It doesn't mean that I am not still who I am, but, sometimes you have to do that. Like you do have to code switch, but when you have to code switch your entire identity, like I just want to make sure people understand that you also need to, give yourself space to bounce back from that. Like, you have to make sure that you're taking care of your inner self as well, and it's one thing when it's just a little thing here and there, but for some people, they really have to change, they have to change their hair, they have to change the way they talk, the way they walk, everything when they go into work. So it's like when you leave that setting, you also have to make sure you give yourself time and space to, celebrate who you are naturally and don't forget who you are while you're in that limbo. So I just wanted to add that. And then Dr. Milson, do you have anything you'd like to add here?
Sure. So I would say that my views are a little different because I'm a firm believer in, I guess I do so much, I don't have time to switch it up. I'm myself. The way I am at home is how I am at work. And, if I'm listening, I like my ratchet music too. I was just up here listening to, I'm not gonna tell you what I was listening to, but I do my thing, and I bring that to work too because I am who I am. And at the end of the day, majority of the people I work with at not my private practice, but the company I work for, it's probably only maybe about 10 to 15 Black people. But here's my thing: if I minimize myself or make myself small in a room, then that means that it's okay for them to do the same. So I'm myself at all times. And if they have a question, if I'm listening to some music and I'm twerking, I'll educate them on what this means or what is twerking or what is this music.
You want to teach them how to twerk, Doc?
I'll be in there twerking. we be in the conference room twerking. But I educate them because we have to learn too that who we are and the things that make us happy or it brings us joy, we shouldn't have to be ashamed of when we get around people that don't look like us. I think being able to show them who we really are, the things that we like, educates them. And if they're uncomfortable, then that's a personal problem. They have to figure out why is this uncomfortable. But I don't like making myself small. So I'm always myself wherever I'm at. I always try to be myself. If not, something's wrong with me.
I love that, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I wish that I'm better, but I wish I had the courage to 100% go all in with that. So I think that I love that, and I feel for everyone who are in spaces where they can't be like that. I feel for you, and I think of you often because I remember when I was in spaces, and even now, if I worked in the office and didn't work from home, I would probably be in a space like that, with the kind of job that I have, like my day job. But I'm very fortunate to be able to work from home, where it's like I'm very professional when I speak to my customers and stuff. But in terms of my colleagues and my coworkers, I don't have to go through that. Like, I need to be this way. I can't listen to this. I can't do that because I'm at home. I'm in my house. I do whatever I want. But I love that. I love that, Dr. Wilson, that you do that and that you do that for your coworkers, because you being who you are and being a doctor, I'm sure that you're kind of high up at your job. Like, when people that are under you who look like you see you being yourself, it really is it's great for them, because it makes them feel welcomed, and that it's nothing wrong with them, that it's okay, So I love that. So we're gonna jump into an ad really quick. Okay, and I'm gonna so I put in an ad here for my girl Carla. So I'm just gonna let Carla take the floor and say a little bit about what she does and what she offers.
Well, hey guys, again. So again, I am the founder of Iris Designs. Iris Designs is a website and branding firm that is dedicated to support small businesses who are struggling to navigate a very tough digital space. So our programs not only offer creative web designs, but we also support our clients with developing a brand, content creation, search engine optimization. We also support our clients with developing a sound marketing strategy, both online and offline, as well as provide services like workshops and education to support small businesses, primarily within the BIPOC community, with growing their business.
Yes. Thank you. First of all, I need to apologize to my engineer because I'm on my iPad and I have not seen any of the chat until just now, Tay. So I am so sorry. But thank you. Thank you so much. My beautiful sis Carla. Y'all please check her out. My website, kickingitwithkia.com, was designed by her, and she does great work. So yes, my dad is home. Like, I need that. Her father is literally hilarious. So I'm not sure where he is, but we just gotta keep talking until he comes back, because his segment is next. But yes, y'all make sure to go ahead and check out Carla. You know what, Dr. Wilson, do you want to give people a little insight on where they can, I don't even know if you're taking clients right now, but if you are, like, where they can find you at and stuff?
Yeah, so my website is thegrowthcentercw.com. Instagram, I am the Growth Center CW. I am currently taking clients. I'm licensed in Texas, Virginia, and New York.
Amazing. Yes.
And New Jersey. Yeah.
In Jersey. So we have the website here at the bottom of the screen. It was the growthcentercw.com.
Yeah.
Dr. Mason. And she specializes in sex therapy and relationships.
Sexuality. Yeah.
Yes. So please look her up, get into it. So, Dad, I'm so glad you decided to come back to the party.
On here, my people is out of town. I gotta hold it down by myself. It's a lot going on over here right now.
Yes, I brought my mom to Hawaii with me for her birthday. This is a birthday trip. My mom is my world, and I'm so happy that we're able to celebrate her in this way. So Dad is home by himself.
Happy birthday to her.
Yes, she said thank you. She said thank you. So Dad, it's your segment now. We doing word of mouth. Okay, and this is when I read a story and then you give some insight on it, okay?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Hi, friends. I love this show, and your dad is so funny. All right. The relationship you have with your father is so cool, and that's why I wanted to send in my story. I didn't see my dad much growing up because he worked a lot. Still such a great father to me and provider for the family, but seriously, I would only see him like once a month. LOL. Truth is, I missed him a lot and personally would have much rather spent more time with him when I was a kid. I promised myself that would never be me with my kids. I know money matters, but missing my kids' milestones isn't an option for me. Fast forward to present day. I'm 28 years old, with a husband and a 3-year-old son. I am obsessed with my husband because he's such a provider and takes very good care of us, which reminds me of my dad. But he's also never really around because he's always working. And I want him here more, but don't know how to go about it. I already told him that I don't mind getting a part-time job to help out and give him more time to spend with our son, but he doesn't want me to work. He feels that the little bit of money I'll make won't compensate for the travel and time I'll have to put in. I just want him here in real time and for him to spend more quality time with his son. I love my baby boy, but I can't teach him how to be a man. I admire my husband for being a provider, but how do I get him to understand that time is more important than money? Thanks for your thoughts, Leah. Leah.
Okay. What it is with that is always working out. But going back in how my father was, my father would work. Both my mother and father worked, but my father would work. He would come home, put his pay stub and his paycheck on the table. My mother would give him a certain amount of money and say, "This is the rest of the money for the bills or whatever." And then my father still used to hang out and whatever, but he always was around. So there's a work-life balance, and some men, he's a very rare man nowadays to be 28 years old and still want his woman not to work, to be home with the child. But then some men, they might be good providers, but he might not be good as far as spending time with the child, which isn't fair to the child. Because like I told a lot of the young people I used to work with that have young kids, you cannot make up certain times in their life. They will never forget certain things. When they're young, Christmases, taking them to the park, spending time with them, reading them a bedtime story, all of that, those are memories that they keep. Like even Christmases, holidays, all of that stuff. So you gotta find a work-life balance. I think she needs to sit down and talk to him and try to figure something out and say, look, it's not working as far. He needs to be, whether son or daughter, he needs to have a relationship with that child. Not always it's about money. Money is part of the equation, but that's not the only thing.
Okay. Yes, that's really true. I'm gonna just leave this one alone because I'm like the exact opposite. Like I'm a very, very practical person. I'm a realistic person, and I just feel like people who don't have to work and don't know the burden of having to live in a capitalist society, they don't understand how important money really is. And it's like I know that it's not everything. I know that there are some things that are more important, but you feel that way until you don't have anything. Like,
But
you feel like
I want to say one more thing about that too. Also with her, she has to be part of like what kind of lifestyle does she want to live also. That's part of it too, because even if she say he don't want her to work, maybe the lifestyle, he's trying to provide a lifestyle that's a little higher level. And so if she would say, I don't need this, I don't need that, that could cut down on some of the time that he's trying to work also. It's part of the lifestyle that she wants to live too. That's part of the equation also. Yeah.
exactly. And that's all I was thinking. Like people say, I don't want you to work. I want to see you more. I want to whatever. But then at the same time, it's like, I want to get my nails done and I want to get my hair done. I want to get it on. Like,
Yeah.
So before we move on, do you guys have anything that you want to add? Let me look at the chat.
Yeah, so I would probably say, I would probably have him, or maybe even advise couples therapy, because the first thing I'm thinking is him. Are they Black? Are they people of color?
I don't know. She calls herself Leah Bia, so I don't think.
So if when we think about men, and I study men a lot, so when we think especially the Black man, looking at how he might define his masculinity, because one, if he defines it as I'm a man, I'm supposed to provide, he might be going off what masculinity, how it was defined for him or modeled for him. So his idea, like what he's doing, may be what was modeled for his dad, from his dad or granddad, or he might have trauma to where he didn't have an active father. So for him, or he may have been poor. So for him, he might be like, I'm the man, I got to take care of things. So I'm going to get it by any means necessary. And unfortunately, when that's the case, a lot of times time, attention, all of that stuff suffers when there's not balance. So I think it would be worth her having a conversation with him and letting him know, like, hey, like trying to get to understand where his mind is and the importance behind it. Like, why are you working so hard? Because it may be, he might, like for me and Carla, like I'm the type of person, for our honeymoon, Carla wanted to go to San Antonio. I was like, I'm not going to no San Antonio for my honeymoon. We're going to the Maldives. So we spent thousands, but she was really willing to spend a couple hundred. I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna work hard to make sure we're going out the country, not no goddamn San Antonio.
After the honeymoon with the bills, see the practical one with the money. See, so y'all gotta have a balance with that.
And we do. But I would probably advise her to talk to him and come at him, work with him from a curious standpoint, seeing why it's so important for him, and maybe, what type of, because men go through a lot internally that women would never know about. And
that's out of our feelings, right?
Yeah. And that's a part of the problem as well. But I would probably encourage her to just get curious with him and see what's going on internally for him and get to that why, like what's behind that.
Yes. I mean, I don't even think we're gonna have time for the central issue. So Carla, did you have something you wanted to add?
It wasn't San Antonio, just for the record, people. Okay.
So where was it? Where you wanted to go?
I don't even remember. I just remember it was domestic.
Carla said we got bills.
Just saying. The wedding was expensive. We could have held off a little bit. I was fine with that.
Think about these bills after the fact.
Listen, that why is so important. Exactly. And honestly, like, even with something as simple as that, like, I think it's really great that you guys brought that up, because people don't understand how those like simple like differences of opinions and stuff like that can turn into bigger issues if the two people involved don't really understand each other, like, and don't understand why the other person is doing what they're doing. So I'm loving this. I'm really happy. We are running out of time, and I made a mistake earlier. I said that was our challenge, but that's actually the challenge for this week. That I want people to make a sacrifice. So we've been talking a lot about being one and coming together. So really quick, we don't have much time, but I did have one more question that I wanted to ask you guys. Like, what is some, and we've talked about this already a little bit, but what is some of the real work different people have to do daily in order to maintain successful relationships? So I want to start with the doctor, because I feel like this is what you do, and I really am interested in your opinion here.
I would probably say some shadow work, looking at kind of subconscious, like what comes up for me. Like if you're in an environment or you're around people and you find yourself like physically feeling something, pay attention to that. It means something. Paying attention to what maybe some of your nonverbal communication, it matters. Being able to take inventory of yourself, but also being mindful that things or situations may have nothing to do with you. It may be how you're internalizing it.
I'm so glad you said that, because my mom sent a comment about the story saying that she feels like he's not the one with the problem. She is, because of things that she's been through when she was a child. And that's why she's internalizing the fact that he wants to like work and provide and stuff because of what she's been through. So like that shadow work is super duper important. So thank you. Carla, what do you think?
I think, my wife always, has these conversations with me, and she tells me, especially when we're at odds with one another, for me to get curious. And when we talk about that why, I'm guilty of being the person where, I'm not thinking about the why. I'm thinking about how I feel in the moment, and I'm reacting, or I'm doing based off of what's happening in that moment. And so I think for my own personal journey is just getting more curious, asking questions, like using some of those phrases. It's challenging, you guys, both wonderful and challenging being married to a therapist. Because sometimes, like, I'll tell her, "Don't you therapy me. I am your wife."
I think time with the doctor talking relationship. I think what we have to do in relationships is we have to communicate, but we have to update the communication.
Yeah.
Like, and check in with your partner every, when you get a chance, sit down, let's have a conversation. If you feel like something is going wrong, going good, or going bad, sit down and have the conversation. And I think that's why sometimes with the family used to get together, always eat dinner at the same time, and we sit down and we talk about how was your day at school, how was your day at work. We missing that. We can still do that even in a relationship with just 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, the family union. I think that's important. You check in with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a gem right there. We're gonna have to take that snippet and put it out on our reel, because that is like update the communication. I like that, because sometimes we take things for granted, and I've done that. But I can say that even though I'm not like a therapist, I feel like I kind of think like Dr. Milson. So I be bringing that into my relationships where people get sick of me. Like, I'm like, I already do stuff like that. I'm like, we need to update the communication. Like, I just want to know, like, so what's your temperature right now? I don't care if it has nothing to do with me. Like, what's going on, So it's important. But I'm so happy. First of all, happy Pride Month. I was supposed to say that at the beginning of the show. Sorry. I'm really excited. I'm so happy that we have my dad on. We have our wonderful guest that spent time with us today. Thank you so much, Carla, Dr. Milson. I love you guys. I love your union, and I love what you do and mean to the people around you, because you are only as great as how you make people feel, So thank you. What I want to do, so I mentioned the challenge earlier, and I kind of overspoke. I thought that we did this challenge last week, but this is actually something that I have that I want to challenge you guys to do this week, and that's make a real sacrifice in your relationship. Plan something for your significant other that they will enjoy, even if it's something that may not be your jam, and I think that it'll say a lot. It'll say a lot about how much you really love and appreciate that person. If you can stay with that person, because even if someone is a people pleaser right now, if you want this to be long term, they may not be able to be a people pleaser forever. So, like, who they really are and what they like is gonna come out, and you just want to be there for them. You want to support them. So do it. Let me know how it goes. Y'all can hit me up at Sisters with Stories Inc. We got the Play to Win podcast on Facebook. Y'all know I'm on Facebook. I love me some Facebook, some Instagram. Shakia Love. Okay. And when we do the outro, we're going to give everybody else tags and stuff like that too. But I'm so happy that you guys joined us. I don't think we have time for the ad, which is fine. Say, like, we can just outro it. And I'm excited. We're going to see you guys next time. And you always have a home and a safe place here at Play to Win. Okay. So does anyone have anything to add before we hop off? Are we good?
You good?
Okay, great. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. And aloha.
Okay, that's done.
Yeah.